does work. And the upload speed has been good up until this point.
Oh, so it's bad now?
No, it's still good. Tweet.
Tweedly deedly deet.
Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Audio test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What we got here?
Are you guys following? Oh, let me see if I can get the comments to pop up. I don't think I can. But
Hello.
news page comments.
Do, my old friend. Chris, we're going to do something with that temperature. It's extremely hot or cold.
How are you?
He's got a coat on.
I'm fine. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
Welcome to my world.
Take your coat off.
I'm not taking my. It's not a coat.
It's a coat.
The thing has a mind its own. It's going to go to like 76 in like 5 minutes, and then
Wish it would.
then we burning up.
Gee, I don't know how you guys do it.
It's only 73.
It's chillier than that.
I just said 73.
Lower third is working. We get started at 6 o'clock, so just bear with us. We'll get started here in a few minutes.
What's up, Ernesto?
Ernesto
Pina.
Pignon. Mr. Al Vic. Hi, Al.
Nico had a good game last week.
Nico had a really good game. He's had a good year.
Yeah.
He does it quietly.
Nico's had 2 good weeks.
He does it quietly. Have you
has
guys noticed that?
He's slacking. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet, though.
Yeah, I'm a little,
Well, for the record,
concerned.
for the record, the knee was down when he did score last year. Did they count as a touchdown?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his knee was down. Our replay showed it.
Yeah, but
Stats say it was
that's
touchdown.
all right.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
But it counts. No, it counts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it counts.
Uh-oh.
I just like to give him a hard time.
Everybody straighten up. First
on?
Lady Charlotte Mosley Chapel.
Oh, First Lady of Guthrie Athletics.
Guthrie Athletics.
Yeah. Oh, that's me.
That is you.
I'm at TV.
You did?
It's me on TV.
Where at?
Right there.
I'm seeing how it works on.
Oh. See here.
Oh boy.
That ain't good.
No. Never a good sound.
Never a good sound.
Oh.
Oh, looky there. Looky there. He had 2 last year. It's in the stat book. No takebacks.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
But the first touchdown was pretty early in the season, though, wasn't it?
Ryan Cotting showed his face after the fighting Ryan Cottings fell apart last
Oh, you
week.
talking about Beggs?
Well, they let me down.
Oh, my.
I had him number 1 in the state. I got mocked by both of you, and your mocking proved to be justified.
So that comment works. So
And
take it off.
you got a little payback for him here in this week's
yeah,
rankings,
I
don't
got
you?
some payback.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for that.
No doubt. That was not good, Ryan. You had one job, get him ready for the game. Oh, boy.
I like the blue background in the comments now.
Yeah, I just set it up.
More clean. Well, we got our biggest crowd so far, so I'm gonna get this party started.
I can't read anything.
Have you downloaded the iOS 16 yet?
Who?
The new iOS update 16 yet? It's the thing. I'll show you. It's a new update. So you can
Oh, for your phone.
Yeah, for your phone.
Oh, yeah, no. I can do that tonight,
So
though.
hit that there, turn that off,
The old,
back on. Hey, I got it fixed. Let's not talk about that.
What are we doing?
Cutting says I was.
Let's not talk about
So
that.
there's that.
I was
there's that one
working.
That's what I sent you.
Oh, yeah.
You touch it. Okay. Oh, hold on. Takes you out.
Oh yeah, hey guys,
Oh, boy.
don't forget Allison.
Kraus?
No, not the Union Station.
Okay.
She's a Kansas girl, right?
Of course she is.
Allison, I'm drawing. Oh my gosh.
Mullinex.
I know it's Mullinex, but
Chad?
yes. I was like, I'm drawing a blank. Her mom was there at homecoming, and then she was at the school board meeting on Monday. Yes, Allison Chad. But anyway, she lives in Tuttle.
Ooh, she's coming to the ball
they
game.
live in Tuttle.
Tuttle.
That's awesome. Great kid. Fine young lady.
Almost everybody lives in Tuttle now. It's amazing.
Well, oh boy, look at my shirt, Chris. We talked about this.
I told you.
You did not tell me
Yeah,
to do
I
a
did.
wardrobe change.
I said, yeah.
You said it looked fine.
No, I didn't.
We always said no green. You can't wear green.
Well, this
That's
is more
green.
of a turquoise.
It's green.
I don't like this at all.
And we're
really talk about this?
Yes.
Yes, Phil. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I've seen it 6 times a day already.
That ain't good.
Hey, Leonard Moore's watching. Thank you. Leonard
Leo,
Moore.
my buddy,
Yep.
my pal.
Watch it on Second Banana Media, YouTube.
Leo, make sure you like Second Banana Media if you haven't already. Leo,
Man, that looks bad.
my oldest and dearest best friend in the world, best man at my wedding. Just a little fella, though. He's a little tiny guy. Leo and I spent many a night in Bible study, Chris, growing up.
Yes, I've heard about
Many a
Bible
night.
study.
Many
Yes.
a night in Bible study.
All right, we ready to get started? 6:02.
I don't know. This shirt is really bothering me now.
Well, I can't do it. You want me to take the shirt off?
We get better ratings.
Well, it depends on the audience.
What are you down 6 pounds, Phil?
I'm down 7.
Oh, 7.
Yeah, could be
Well,
8 by the end of the show.
All right, here we go. Welcome inside the High School Huddle, along with Ronnie Phillips and Nichols, Chris Evans with you Wednesday night as we get set for high school football week number 3 of the young season. A few games on the schedule for Thursday, a few games on Friday. A lot of the big schools, a lot of schools across the state actually are off this week, and with the bye week and week 0 and all that good stuff. A lot of play next week with district play, but final for a lot of people, final non-district game. There's a lot of difference this year, but anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Interesting games last week, guys. Some big showdowns. The Jinx Union, we'll talk about that a whole lot. We'll have our rankings coming up. We'll have some of the top 10 games. We'll have our predictions, how we did last week. But special guest on our next segment, we'll have Chris Mallow, a official with the Oklahoma Secondary Schools Activity Association. We'll talk about what it's like to be official, how to get into it, and all that good stuff. So we got a great show ahead of you.
Yeah, that's an important segment. I encourage everybody to listen, and I know Chris will give you a way to learn more about it. If you guys want to, of course, you can contact us too, and we can get you pointed in the right direction as well. But we drastically, horribly need new blood in the officiating world. Our kids need that. Can't have games without officials.
And that's not just football.
Oh, no,
Nope.
it's every sport out there. It's a shortage, no doubt.
Of course, the High School Huddle is brought to you by our good friends, our title sponsor this year, Generations Church. Check them out right there, generationsguthrie.com. Right here in Guthrie, 2524 West Noble Avenue. Phone number is 405-282-6848. generationsguthrie.com. Got an active Facebook page as well, and we invite you to check them out. Well, guys, we'll talk some stuff off the field and some sad news this week. 2 coaches, legendary coaches in the state of Oklahoma, passing away. Longtime Douglas coach Stanford White passed away on Thursday, and then a longtime and active coach for the Sulphur Bulldogs, Jim Dixon, passed away. So you talk about a lot of victories and a lot of wins, but staples at their schools.
Yeah, and you know, of course, unfortunately, in our hometown where we live, Guthrie, we lost a coaching legend earlier this year, and you know, when you lose those kind of people, you know, the thing I always think about is all the lives they touched in their careers, and how many people they helped and helped mold, and they continued to help when they weren't, you know, as adults. You know, they continue to support them and love on them, and so our prayers go out to those families and those communities, and yeah, it's a real loss when you lose legends.
Yeah, Jim Dixon, Marlow graduate, joined the staff in Sulphur in 1973. Got promoted to head coach just a couple years after that, and they had a little bit of a short practice today in the community, and the players came in and they talked about memories and stuff, and I can only imagine how long that could have been. Ugh. You know, I mean, just for, like Phil kind of said, we lost the legend here, and we all kind of just sit down at the last pep rally here, and everybody they said everybody stand up if you ever if you ever Clay Tartar was your coach, or if he taught you in school, stand up, and almost the entire room stood up. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So the same thing with Jim Dixon, I'm sure, and it's just a great loss for Sulphur, the community of Sulphur, and high school football at that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, Stanford White graduated from Douglas High School. Of course, got the coach's alma mater. 1963 Douglas graduate, died at the age of 27. Won a state championship. Led the Trojans to 176 victories, including a 3A state championship against Jinx.
Oh, wow.
In his very first season. Wow. So,
wow.
How old was he when he passed?
77.
77, okay.
Yeah. And Jim Dixon, just 71. He's been in ICU for a medical event. Yeah. And the athletic director had to go coach him up last week.
Yep.
But 48 years. He had a record of 348 victories, only 191 losses since joining the Sulphur staff in 1973.
You know, when you think about that, for all these young men that are on the teams right now, you know, they grew up in these small towns, you know, the real true communities, right?
Yep.
That guy was a god to them. I mean, he was invincible, you know, and can you imagine?
Probably figured in most of them.
Yeah, and can you imagine, you know, you're on the team and
you always think about playing for Sulphur.
You always think about playing for Sulphur, and you're going to play for coach.
Yep.
And you know, it's just so you really got to keep those young people in your prayers. I mean, I know everybody's hurting in those communities, and it's just one of the downs. You know, we got to see a cool thing last week. All of us did with the Sports Hall of Fame in our hometown, and
yep.
The coach came back, and man, what a great event because of the bonds are still today. You know, 41 years later.
Mm-hmm. And these are 6-year-old men crying the other day. It's just crazy.
You know, the impact coaches have and teachers have and students, it's unbelievable.
It's kind of like what I told you, you know, when we saw that as we watched it on live. I mean, that's why those coaches do it, man. That's why they do it. I mean, it's amazing.
And I always like it. You guys brought up the Hall of Fame thing in Guthrie, but it's everywhere. Even men in their 40s and 50s and 60s, if their coach is still around, how it's still coached, and how you go back to that relationship when you were a player and they were your coach.
Well, you guys know, this past year I lost my high school football coach, and I mean it hits different.
Yeah,
you know, I'm a 56-year-old man, and it hits different when that happens, and they just have a huge impact in your life. They do.
So, again, sad to hear the passing of Stanford White of Douglas High School and Jim Dixon, coach at Sulphur. Sulphur will not play a game this week. They're going to take the week off and then non-district game. So regroup and get ready for district play here. And I'm sure they will play with extra motivation throughout the entire season and play for him in that tough Class 2A class. So, we're just getting started here. We're going to make this segment a little bit shorter so we can have more time with our guest, Chris Mallow, who will talk about officiating in Oklahoma high school athletics. But there's several ways to find us on this show. Of course, you're watching us right now on either Guthrie News page, Facebook Live, or you're watching us on Second Banana Media YouTube. And there's a bunch of ways to get us. There's a High School Huddle Facebook page, and there's High School Huddle Twitter. But to find us on YouTube and in the archives and all that good stuff, we invite you to go to YouTube, search Second Banana Media, subscribe and like. It's all free. Be notified when we go live. We're also on every podcast platform. Wherever you get your podcasts, we'll go home and upload this a little bit a day or two later, and it'll be on those podcast platforms if you want to listen in your car, on your walk. Any way you can do it, we try to make it open for everybody to take it in as best as you like to do. So. Yeah. All right, we're going to take our opening time out here on the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church. We'll come back. We'll be joined with our special guest, Chris Mallow of the OSSA, I think Oklahoma City Coaches or Oklahoma City Officials Association? Oklahoma City Officials Association. Yep. So we'll talk about him. We'll talk about with him here in just a minute. This is the High School Huddle. At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin, that's where the golden tenders come from, marinated for 24 hours.
It is amazing.
Then we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I like to get extra rolls, so I love it.
We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy. Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by two combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Lewis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Lewis Turney a call at 282-7600.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle, presented by Generations Church.
It is the High School Huddle here on a Wednesday night, getting ready for week number 3 of the high school football season. Welcome back. We're now joined by our good friend here, Chris Mallow, who, did I say it right, Oklahoma Football Coaches Association, Oklahoma City?
Metro.
No,
Oklahoma City Metro Officials Association.
I know it's a bunch of letters, and that's why I write it.
But that's all right.
Anyway, you are. This is your busy time of the year.
It is. It's been very, very busy. Of course, for us, football season starts almost as early as it probably does for the schools. We start with preseason meetings and all of that stuff in late July. So we've already been going for a while. And in fact, my crew had a week 0 game, so we're already 3 games in as well.
That's busy time of the year. So how long have you been into officiating?
Well, in total, I've been in 20 years. This is my 20th season working. I started right after I graduated high school in 1991, actually, and worked. I started in baseball, worked several years in baseball, and then ended up sort of taking some time away, with family and career and that sort of thing. But then in 2009, got back into it after we'd moved back to Oklahoma from where we were living in Colorado, and have been at it ever since then.
So why get into officiating? What got you in there?
That's a good question. I I was 17 and stupid, I guess, when I got into it. I mean, so from a certain perspective, but then again, sports in 1991 was a little bit different world than it is today. Crazily enough, I was looking for kind of an extra job and was looking in the classified ads in the Tulsa World newspaper, and they had a classified ad for the Tulsa Little League needing umpires. And I love baseball. Baseball was my sport when I was younger. And so the opportunity to do that, I jumped at the chance, and then ended up, being sort of good at it. So it ended up being a good thing for quite a while. It was my primary job while I was in college. It's a great way for younger people to get money. I mean, in fact, that's probably one of the best parts about working it. When you work sports, most of the kids that come out of high school and love playing have, even minimal chances of going to college and playing, right? I mean, even if they're playing for, JUCO or whatever. But even then, the ones that are coming out of college, the vast majority of them are not going to do anything. I mean, they could go, if they want to stay involved with the sports that they love, they can go into coaching or they can go into officiating. So those are both good options, really, for anyone coming in.
So talk a little bit about the process. So if somebody's out there, they say, I'd like to give officiating a try, something I'd like to do.
Sure.
What does that look like? Who do they contact? What's the process? You
bet. So out of the Oklahoma City Metro Association, really you can contact anyone. Well, a lot of people will start with the state, but they'll also reach out to any of us with the individual associations. Every sport has a local association, typically in a metro or in a region. So, just around here, there's us out of Oklahoma City. There's Kingfisher. There's Stillwater. There's Shawnee. Basically there are several, and some of them cover individual sports, but most of them will cover multiple sports. Like Oklahoma City Metro covers football, basketball, baseball, and softball.
Okay.
And so if you want to work in any of those sports, you're pretty much going to be dealing with us. If you contact the state, what they're going to do is they're going to typically just point you toward one of the local associations and give you a contact, and that's really the best way to go.
Okay.
I mean, we are all highly incentivized to get people going.
Yeah.
And so we offer all sorts of additional training. During preseason scrimmages and that sort of thing, we offer tons and tons of extra work for people that have never been in it. We offer a completely separate set of rookie meetings so that brand new officials that have never worked in a sport before can get as much sort of fundamental basic training as we can give them around not just the rules but mechanics and the very basic stuff. I was a technical advisor for football for several years out of Oklahoma City and ran all of those, and so we have whole sets of notes and all sorts of things that we do, both from us and from the state that they provide to try and get people going.
Is there a written test involved?
There is.
Oh, boy, I'm out.
So, yeah. So,
and you got a 75? Is it 75% or higher? Oh,
so it is
75 back in the day for me.
Oh, yeah. So 75.
Okay.
Open book?
It is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Always.
I'm back in.
I'm not going to go down the road of scores and open book and all of that. But I will say, there are some things that you have to do. So you register with the state, so you pay a basic amount for that. Brand new officials are charged less. I believe the fees are cut in half. They're not terribly expensive to begin with. This is actually kind of a good segue into some of the barriers that we have, because there are some things that you have to do. So your state registration, and when you do your state registration, you have to take you get a packet with the rules and mechanics books, but you also have to take an online test related to the rules. Again, yes, it's open book.
Back in.
But all of that's provided. But then you also have to take some of the same basic training courses online through the National Federation that coaches take. So concussion awareness, heat awareness.
Cardiac arrest?
We don't have anything like that.
Okay.
So the primary two that we have to take are health related, and they're concussion awareness, which we have to take every year. Heat awareness you have to take one time. And then we have a certain number of meetings that you're supposed to go to so that you can continue to advance. And all of those things are sort of designed to help keep people engaged. It's as much for our veteran officials as for our new ones. Usually we don't have trouble with the new ones making meetings. But it does give them sort of a flavor, because you have, after you've gotten through the initial training and you've done your registration, you have to get equipment, because we do have a uniform, obviously. And based on what sport you work, it can be more expensive. To get into basketball or football is not quite as expensive. If you want to get into baseball or softball, particularly fast pitch, or baseball, you have a lot more, because you have to buy chest protector and mask and shin guards and plate shoes and all of those things. I guess you don't have to, but you really want to do that.
Yeah, might leave a mark.
Yeah, it will. Funny story about that. I worked my whole first year with only a mask in Little League. Fortunately, they were 8 and couldn't throw very hard. But there are those sorts of barriers. Additionally, and this is another big challenge that we have in keeping younger guys engaged. Obviously, you have to devote time during the evenings, and it cannot. That isn't necessarily a hard sell, but a challenge that we have with scheduling, and we've been trying to talk with the schools about this, particularly for sub-varsity. Varsity is not as big a deal, but in some of the sports it is. But really all around, the schools want to do earlier start times. Mm-hmm. So say a 4:30 start or a 5 o'clock start. And if you've got somebody working, particularly if they're working something, that's a real, a more blue-collar kind of job, they don't have flexibility, it's tough for those guys to get away. And so we've been trying to talk with the athletic directors and with the schools to get them to understand, hey, if you can give us, push things back another half an hour or whatever. Football isn't as big a deal, but baseball has always been a problem. Those guys want to start, at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, first pitch, and that's real tough. And as a result, we are really, really hurting for baseball umpires.
Yeah. Doesn't even count baseball tournaments that will start in the morning.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you'll get in a situation where, they'll want to run a 3-day tournament, and you'll end up having to, you'll have to get there and start, because they'll start games at, 9 in the morning, or 8 in the morning, so that they can get it in if they've got, 4 or 5 teams involved, or 6 or 7 teams involved, and that can be really challenging.
Yeah.
So kind of curious about the football side of things. So you're a white hat, right? So that means for anybody who doesn't know, that's the person wearing the white hat, and they tell you exactly what the calls were. So if somebody wanted to get in, say, okay, I want to go in, but I want to be a white hat. How's the process? Obviously, you can't be straight a white hat, obviously, but
you can't.
No, I don't think
I'm
so.
out.
I don't think so. So what's the process? I mean, how do you get to the white hat, the almighty white hat?
So really, it isn't as hard as you might think. And in fact, for that sort of thing, it's probably in some ways easier now than it's ever been, because we've got a lot of guys that, even veteran guys, that won't touch the white hat with a 50-yard pole, right? I mean, let alone a 10-foot pole. I mean, there's a lot of additional work involved when you're the white hat of your football crew. But really, so the way that I got into it was probably my second year. If you express an interest, they'll start putting you at white hat in sub-varsity games. So you go out on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights when you're working junior high, and you just do it, because, who cares?
Right.
I mean, it's it's
junior high parents.
Right. But they don't. Right. But they don't. But the point is, it isn't. We don't have the pressure of what you have and sort of the additional requirements and things that you have. So learning basic game administration, learning basic signals and communication, handling a little bit of sideline control from that perspective. It's certainly different. I mean, we start everybody on the wing, right? So you're on the sideline to start regardless, until you kind of get your feet under you. But if you have an interest, and once you're in, it isn't a huge deal to start going down that road. And then after a few years, and you're used to it and you like it, as spots open up. In fact, we've had within the last few years with varsity crews some brand new white hats that were just like, hey, I'm going to start my own crew.
Yeah.
Because really, we don't assign people to crews. Crews are their own kind of autonomous.
Oh, that's cool.
Groups. I mean, we are, and this is important. We are all independent contractors.
Yeah.
Right. We aren't employed by the schools. We aren't employed by the state. We aren't employed by the associations. We are independent contractors that just sort of loosely affiliate together. And so, if 5 guys get together and decide that they want to be a crew and start taking games, and then they're absolutely free to do so.
Speaking with Chris Mallow of the Oklahoma City Metro Officials Association.
There you go.
But before we get into the football field, X and all that good stuff, you mentioned a team, and you can 5 friends, a group of friends from different parts of the state can get together and be a team. And then obviously the more years you work together, the more comfortable you are. But that's the other part of the officiating world that is fun. Those hour-and-a-half trips that you take. Yeah. You can get together and work together and talk about plays and talk about, well, this is what we had last week. This week's going to be a little bit different. They're going to throw the ball a lot more. Back judge, you better be in shape this week. But a team, a friend, a group of buddies.
Yeah, and that camaraderie is all I will say is that is sometimes all you have keeping you in it. I know you've worked on the field before, and you are occasionally, and this is sort of the rough part too. Because this factors into retention. You'll have situations where you're in the middle of a game, and you would do anything that you possibly could to just leave. But you've got your partners with you, your crewmates, and you can enjoy. As much as anything. And sometimes they're the only people that are helping you get through it, And so it is good. The travel is good. It is fun to take a road trip. So as an example, my crew, and I got this from the white hat that was before me, right? So I was the line judge before, and then after our white hat retired, he'd been in, 40 years. He left, and they moved me into the white hat role. And they had sort of been prepping me for it for a while, so I knew it was coming. But one of our traditions is we go to Ishans at least once, if we can manage it, every season. And so we do everything we can to schedule a game somewhere out northwest so that we can go. Well, the last couple of years, it's been a little dry for us. I think we've had in the last 2 seasons, we've had 1 Ishans trip. Well, this season, we've got we had a game in Enid for week 0.
Ishans.
We had a game in Canton just this past Friday. And absolutely. And then later in the season, we've got a game at Kingfisher. And so
definitely
so this year we get 3 Ishans trips. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. There are, and every crew has kind of those sorts of traditions and things and habits. So,
and for the record, a coach or a player or a fan really hasn't never make me want to get up and leave. It was the 23-degree temperature that made me want to get up and leave.
Yeah, that's true.
I can handle the others. I couldn't handle the weather.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely it can come from anywhere. And it's tough. I don't know if we prepare our younger people for the sorts of adversity that you end up having to deal with when you're working as an official. And I think some of that factors in. I mean, not that they can't handle it. They certainly can. We've got some really solid young guys that are coming in. The problem is we just aren't getting enough of them.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of our older veteran officials that have either retired, and we knew this was coming 5, 6, 7 years ago, right? And now it really is getting critical because we're losing a lot of excellent guys to retirement, and we just aren't meeting replacement.
And Phil, it's not just an Oklahoma thing. This is a nationwide thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talked to friends up in Kansas. They're having the same problems, and Texas, same problems. But this is something I've always talked to my friends about. I have 2 of them. Is I've always said I would think football, and I'm talking about as far as fan interaction. Football, we'll call it interaction.
Okay.
Football, I think, would be less stressful than basketball and baseball because there's some distance, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I've always thought basketball would, from a fan perspective, would be the toughest one to do. And then baseball and then football for me.
Yeah, so basketball is challenging for so many reasons. I worked it 2 years, and I won't ever work it again. And not just because of fan interactions. An important part of officiating that we tried, and I'm sure you'll echo this, right? I mean, you spent a lot of time working baseball. The nice thing in baseball is you can take a little extra time and think about something before you call it. And football is the same way. I might see a foul, and I can let things play out and make sure that it's worthy. We hate guys that are flag happy. Everybody hates guys.
Yeah.
So I'm an official,
Last week.
and we mock guys that we know that are veterans and been around 20 years and still want to throw flags on every play. Because that's not what we're doing.
you can if you want to.
Oh, you can.
Sure could.
But it's not what we're. I mean, our job is to efficiently and fairly administer the game, right? And flags don't really help that.
Right.
I mean, we throw them because we have to, not because we want to.
Right.
But in football or baseball, I could take an extra half a second and let my brain process what I'm seeing, or let things play out and really, am I sure of this? Yep, I'm sure. Okay, boom. Basketball, you have no such luxury. You have to be able to immediately read things and understand what's going on and even anticipate, because if you give yourself an extra half second, play's moved on and it's too late.
Yeah.
And you can't blow your whistle then, right? And so that's challenging, as well as the fan aspect. Fans in basketball, man, are just they are too close. You say baseball would be challenging. Baseball really isn't that challenging, because the nice thing about baseball is you still have your fence, and your fans are outside the fence and you're inside the fence. And so in some ways, even if only psychologically, you have a definitive barrier that shields you from them. And sometimes it's actually pretty funny. I've had some things hollered at me in baseball games that just made me laugh, right? I mean, literally made me laugh.
Sorry.
It's great. And some places are really known for being hard on officials.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in most of those places, number one, going in, and number two, coaches and fans that see you a lot, which does have a tendency to happen in our line of work, get used to you, and it gets easier.
Yeah.
They get used to how you call, particularly if you really do a good job and they see that whatever happens, you're hustling and you're trying your best and you're really trying to make it fair. They do eventually I won't say they let up, but they appreciate it to the point where it gets easier. Yeah. And you eventually even, some of them that even if they're really hard on you, you learn their names and you chat with them between innings or whatever, or at stoppages, and that just becomes part of what you do.
So I know we're wrapping up here in a few, but have you ever had to disqualify somebody from the sideline in a high school football game? Meaning a coach, somebody with the staff, somebody on the sideline.
So have I ejected a coach?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Chris, they ejected themselves.
Yes, thank you very much.
It's coming out.
That is the correct way to put it.
He may have been retired a while, but he still remembers it.
No, that's absolutely
Thin
correct.
blue line.
We do have to, yep, that's it. We do have to,
together to the end.
That's right.
Those are our funniest war stories in a lot of cases. Just last season I ejected the coach from Merritt, and we still laugh about the way that it went. He clearly wanted to go. Right?
Was it cold or hot?
It was crazily enough. It was September 11th. They moved our game so that they could do a big tribute thing. Yeah. It was for Oklahoma Christian School, and Merritt came to town, and they moved us from Friday night to Saturday.
I can tell you, umpiring those cold baseball games, I know that coach wants to go because I want to go, but if I'm staying, he's staying.
Or when the game's really out of hand. Yeah. And you're like, I'm tired of doing it.
Oh, no, you're not getting easy pass this week, Coach.
You're staying.
That's funny.
We're down 12 runs, and my pitcher couldn't hit the strike zone if it was as big
I'm tired
as
of watching
barn
it
door.
too, but you're going to watch with me.
Exactly right.
So talk about the rule. Any rule changes or not? rule changes or any points of emphasis for this football season?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest one, and we've sort of known that it was coming because it's been up for approval with the National Federation for the last few years, but we have finally gone to sort of the college-style rules for intentional grounding.
Yeah.
So we don't have a tackle box the way it's defined, but we have something that's extremely similar called the free blocking zone, which is basically the tackle box because it extends from the tackle on this side to the tackle on this side. It has some depth requirements as well, and it's designed to help us make determinations about low blocks and things that are permitted on the line. But now we've extended it to basically have it so that if a quarterback runs outside of the lateral limits of that at any time, whether they come back in or not, after they've come out of there, then they can throw it out of bounds or whatever, again, similar to the to the college rule, as long as they make the line of scrimmage. So if they throw it forward, once they've gone outside of the limits of the free blocking zone, as long as it goes past the line of scrimmage, it doesn't matter if they throw it 50 rows up. It's no longer a foul. Whereas in the past, they were required to put it somewhere near an eligible receiver. They couldn't just throw it away. And if they didn't, then we would get them for intentional grounding. So it's kind of nice because at least now everyone sort of understands, because we hear it all the time. We would call it under the old rule, he's outside the tackle box. Well, we don't really have that.
Right. So what about getting it to the line of scrimmage? In high school football, do you have to get it to the line of scrimmage or beyond the line of scrimmage? Okay.
Yeah. If they get it to the neutral zone or beyond, whether it's inbounds or out of bounds, as long as they're outside of that or have been outside. So even if they roll out, if he rolls out and then rolls back into it, he's been outside of the free blocking zone limits. And so from that perspective, he can throw it pretty much as long as it goes into or beyond the neutral zone, he's fine.
Okay, ball extended for the pylon. What happens if it's on the outside of the pylon? Like they reach for it and they miss it and it's toward the out of bounds? Mm-hmm. Is that a touchdown?
So it's still got to be
over or in?
It's got to be in or it's over or inside. Yeah, so because that defines. In fact, David Gore, who is a state rules interpreter and one of my
great official.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great official.
He was my mentor early in my career. I couldn't have learned from anyone smarter from an officiating perspective. Worked a lot of baseball and football with him both. But he talks about if the pylon's properly placed, it is at the point, the inside corner is at the point where the goal line and the sideline meet, right? And so and that which defines basically where the plane is of each. And so if you get it over or inside that, extended, then it's a touchdown.
Okay.
That's the rule at every level. That's not just a high school.
Now, do you have an email address you'd like to tell everybody about? So for suggestions from fans, they can send in, possible suggestions on how to handle calls.
Yeah, that's Phil at xn.co.
That's right. Yeah, send them my way. I'll give them what does Dr. Simpson say? I'll give it the
consideration it
deserves.
So like Phil's over here blocking for me over here, and I'm running on an 80-yard touchdown like I did every other play.
Why is he?
But Ronnie's a receiver over there by himself as a decoy, and he holds.
Why do we call this?
Is that
yeah. That's a great question. Why do you call that?
Yeah,
nothing to do with the play.
Yes, he did hold.
Yeah,
but he's 40 yards from the ball.
Yeah,
you would never do that, would you, Chris?
What, call that hold over there whenever the ball's over?
Yeah.
No.
No, you got to be paying attention to the ball, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Got that one right.
So remember what we were talking about earlier about flag-happy officials. Yeah. We do have guys that want to call that over there. Yeah. It gets tricky when you have plays on the backside because obviously as the white hat, the offensive backfield is mine. And so you'll have something where you'll have, say, a defensive end coming in from this side and he'll get held here, but the quarterback has already started moving that way. I get that one all the time. Oh, he's being held. He can catch him. I'm like, okay, look, if that defensive end who weighs twice as much as that quarterback can catch him, I'll eat my hat.
Yeah.
Right? In most cases, you're not going to have something where it would be valid. And so that's one of those where you see it and you let it roll. Because if he's there, and there is a lot of judgment involved.
Sure.
If he's there and he starts breaking that away, the play's away from it. And you're almost never going to call anything.
Special teams is where you see that a lot too, right?
Yeah.
A guy will be broke, will be 20 yards down the field, and somebody behind does something stupid, hits a kid in the back.
Yep.
You don't see that a lot on Friday. We get, we're lucky. We call, Friday night games all over and get to call state championship games. And the officiating, we always refer to it as the third team on the field because you are.
Yep.
And, the good crews, you don't see those kind of calls.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't. You don't see them, and they're very situationally aware.
You forget they're on the field, actually.
You really do. You really do. Yeah. So
running way behind. Common mistake that young officials make, and the common mistake or error, not mistake, or an error that veterans officials make.
So a common mistake that new officials make is looking for fouls. They think that that's our job, right? Because that's the most visible part of what we do as officials, and that's regardless of sports. Looking for something to call. You don't have to call anything. In fact, to go back to David Gore, he's like, in a lot of plays, you don't even have to blow your whistle at the end of a play. In football, everybody knows the guy's down. So, what are you blowing your whistle for? It's largely, and in fact, we'll have, even on our crew, we'll probably have a third of plays that are like that, where no one will sound it. And we spend as much time talking. I think that for veteran official mistakes, probably it's the idea that again, a similar idea, that you need to somehow justify what you're doing. Or I would say maybe the opposite of that, thinking that you need to make it look easy. I mean, officiating is it's kind of a balance, right? You want to always look like you're hustling and doing your best, but you still want it to be smooth, right? Because really, all the fans and coaches want is to know that you care and you really try.
Yep.
I mean, they don't really hate you,
right?
Whether they think you're wrong or not. If you go out there and look like you're really doing your best, they're gonna see that, and they're gonna give you maybe some leeway, even if it's not very much, and that's important.
Officials, I think, I remember, it's not personal. They're not yelling at you. They're yelling at the uniform in that spot. So that's one thing, young officials.
And the good crews, right?
Yeah.
You can always tell a veteran quality crew by how they handle interactions on the sideline, by how what they will allow a coach to do. And the good crews will allow a coach to express themselves as long as they're doing it appropriately.
Got to be approachable.
Got to be approachable.
Yep.
But and I love this. I love when I see this. I love it when there's a close call and officials come together and spend the time. You talked about a few minutes ago. They talk. You guys talk. Because ultimately you just want them to get the call right.
Right. To follow up on that right there, because I was going to ask, when you guys do huddle up and this official says, "I saw this," and it says, "Well, I saw this," who gets the final say?
Whose area?
That's I can give you actually a great example of that. So in week 0, we were at Enid, and Enid was down 2 points.
Muskogee, right?
Yeah, and had Muskogee.
Oh, that's a nice opener. Rashawn Woods and Travis Hill.
Yeah. Let me tell you what. Mentioning those guys, both were outstanding.
Yeah,
we had no trouble with either of them.
Absolutely.
In fact, in spite of how tight that game was and the stuff that we had happen, if every game were like that, it would be easy to get guys to step.
Wow.
They were both outstanding. I would work for either of those guys again anytime.
Yeah.
But the play we had was Muskogee had gotten pinned back to about their 5.5-yard line and snapped it into the shotgun, and the rush came in. And I don't know what happened with the quarterback, but he just kind of locked up right inside the goal line, and I couldn't tell. I mean, I'm standing on the end line. It's not my call. I'm not the one looking down the goal line, right? I got to depend on my wings. And we didn't make any signal, right? We crashed in, and, I'm asking the guys, so like you said, area, right? So we're closer to the home side, and so my line judge is the one that's going to be primarily responsible for it. And then my head linesman rushed in from the other side, and we talked about it. And you want to make sure with a play like that, right? I mean, because that play is going to tie the game.
Yeah.
And it's late. I think we were at about 4 minutes left in the game at the time. So, I mean, that was a huge, huge call. And you don't you want everything to be as perfect with that as you can make it. But at the end of the day, you're just going to talk about it, make your decision, and make your signal, because somebody's going to be unhappy.
Right.
We're having a conversation afterwards with somebody.
Yeah. And, in that case, Ernie, who's my line judge, he saw it one way, but he kind of had traffic in his way. And so our head linesman actually came over and said, no, he got out. He didn't get out very far. He got out to about the half-yard line. He said, but he got out. I saw it. Like, okay. And he's, sometimes if a guy comes in and is adamant about
very adamant, very confident.
Because if he's got the angle, because that's what you want, right? I mean, even though he's farther away, it was still inside the hashes, right? And so either of those guys could have made the call. But Ernie admitted, he's like, I had some traffic. He's like, so I'm not really sure.
That's why they
like,
talk about it. That's great. Perfect.
It's good official.
There's no other way you can do it, right? Because
then everybody yells at you for making the call.
Well, I will say this.
That wideout was terrible.
There is no signal that's harder to fix in football than a score signal. So when you put your hands up or you give a safety signal, that's hard to fix.
Well, they fixed it last week against Texas.
Unring the bell.
Oh yeah. In fact, it's almost.
We played the fight song for no reason.
Yeah, but
don't tell Texas that.
you end up having to take it back, right? And it's always better. And I talked about it earlier with giving yourself an extra half a second to think when you're the one looking at a play. But in that situation, nothing is determined until you make the call. Right, and so you can take a little time to make sure you get it right. I mean, we don't have 50 angles and on camera and all of that, and not that it helped our friends at Texas much. With replays.
I was going to ask you about that.
I didn't see any holding.
Yeah, it was good.
I did. Everyone's streaming nowadays. Officials like to go back and watch.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We have all of the schools use Huddle now to trade plays and trade film with each other, and they can share it with us. We actually have a school name for the Oklahoma City Metro Officials Association, and they can share their video with us like they share it with the other schools that they deal with.
That's awesome.
And so we absolutely love it. This is, I think, one thing a lot of people don't understand. We're amateurs. We get paid, but sure. None of us make it. I mean, no one, at least at the high school level, does this professionally as their only line of income. And yet we still spend a great deal of time trying to make sure we're improving and doing the best job that we can do. And so we always love it because we're like, how was my angle on this? Did I get this right? Like, I can't tell you. We took Muskoge's feed from YouTube, and I've watched that safety play at least 12 times, 13 times. And broken it down, and we actually ended up talking about it because there are some critical coverage things to bring up with our entire association. At the following week's meeting, we broke the whole thing down to talk about where you got to be and when and what that looks like.
Did you get it right?
As near as I can tell.
Yeah.
Let's bring in our next guest, Travis Hill. Come on.
He was the winning coach. So
okay. Rashawn, we're on the phone with Rashawn. No,
exactly.
Overtime, I'm geeking out a little bit.
That's all right.
My final thing here. So when the punter punts the ball out of bounds, why does it always go out on the yard line? It never goes out like on the 9.5 yard line. Not the 9, the 10, not the 10.5. It's always it's so weird how it always goes out on a line.
It's true.
It's true.
It absolutely does.
Okay.
It always does. And in fact, on a lot of long pass plays down the field, you'll notice that it mysteriously ends up right on a yard line.
Right on a yard line.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
Crazy how it happens.
Yeah.
You ever had to get a credit card out on the first down 10?
I have.
Have you really?
Yeah.
You carry? Oh, your official's card. You have an official card.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, we always have
a
take
your first debit card.
Definitely,
but I have had situations that were that close.
Wow.
In fact, we had one. I can't remember where we were at, but we don't do measurements very often. Our wings don't like it.
Yeah.
Right. Because especially the guy whoever's on chains. Now we swap right now. At halftime we swap sides with our wings. We used to not do that.
Yeah.
But our head linesman typically doesn't like having to haul the chains all the way across the field. Sometimes you do it. Sometimes and you do it just to make sure everybody sees.
If a coach requests it.
If a coach
it's
requests
a courtesy, right, though?
It can be.
Yeah.
In most cases, though, they don't request it unless it is close, and in usually that case, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to request it unless it matters.
Right.
So, like, we're not going to measure in a 5-touchdown game.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But, if it's tight, we're usually already calling for the chains. We almost never have to have coaches ask.
It's good.
Chris, we appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah.
We can do this for another hour.
Yeah, no kidding.
I could talk about officiating.
We might have you back a little bit later on to talk more about it. But if you're a new official out there and interested in it, you don't have to start on Friday nights. You can start at junior high level and all that good stuff.
I don't recommend starting on Friday nights.
Yeah, no, probably not. But probably the easiest way is to go to the OSSA's website, which is OSSAA.com, and there's a tab up there called Officials. Click that, and they'll take care of you. Or you can call the OSSA. They'll get you in the right direction, as Chris mentioned earlier. So, Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris Mallow joined us here on the High School. Take a time out. We'll take a look at some of the games this week. Also took a look about how we did last week in our picks. We got our top 10 games coming up that we'll pick as well. This is the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church.
Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by two combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Louis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Louis Turney a call at 282-7600.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin. That's where the golden tenders come from. Marinated for 24 hours.
It is amazing.
And we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I like to get extra rolls, so I love it.
We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle, presented by Generations Church.
Welcome back, High School Huddle. Wednesday night, get set for week 3 of the high school football season. Definitely appreciate Chris Mallow dropping by.
Yeah, it was good.
Man, we can talk another hour.
I had 10 other questions I want to ask.
Yeah, I was really enjoyed that conversation. I hope to have him back later on, maybe for the playoffs and see
maybe
how
I can finally get the address of that guy that blew the call over in Tulsa a few years back.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you just be official? Phil never forgets.
Not that one, I don't.
Well, I bet the Jinx Trojans would like to forget about last week's game with the Union Redhawks. As Union Jinx did have a lead, right? 3-0. I remember
3-0
we
early.
were on the broadcast.
Early.
Yeah,
very
3-0.
early.
Union 38 unanswered points as they win at 38-3 in the Shaker Bowl.
Shaker Bowl.
I
think Shaker firmly established himself as the man.
Yeah, he 18 of 24 passing, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns. His top receiver, Grayson Tempest, had 6 catches for 137 yards and a score. As Union takes down Jinx. Do remember, 33, Jinx was without several starters, including one of their running backs. So I think if the game was played in about 6 or 7 weeks.
You think there's a 35-point difference with those guys?
No.
Yeah. I think Jinx will play. If the game was played in 6 or 7 weeks, I think Jinx would be a lot more competitive.
Yes,
I agree with that.
I'm sorry.
I'm talking about winning.
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. No, and listen, not only without an important, the running back. Which in their offense is a big deal.
Yeah.
So, but Shaker proved that he is the man. There's no doubt. That was a lot of pressure on that kid too. You transfer from Jinx, where you won a state title as a starting quarterback as a freshman.
Yep.
Go to Union very quickly in the offseason, right before season started, essentially. And to go out and have that kind of game.
That's big time.
The kid's got ice water in his veins.
Yeah,
I promise you, he was getting everybody's best shot.
Yep.
The crowd, I promise you, was ruthless.
Yep.
And he just stood up tall and got her done.
Yeah, I want to definitely kudos to Shaker on that because, again, all week long, he's been hearing from his former buddies at Jinx. They were guaranteed
they were probably former at this point.
Former friends, probably. Talking back and forth all week long. Right. And I can only imagine the conversations going on the field during the game. And then again, if you're Shaker and you pull away with that kind of big upset, you get the last laugh in. I'm sure he got the last word in as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
In the article Bill Hastings had in the Tulsa Roll was fantastic. It happened after our show. I think it might have been Thursday or Friday. On Shaker's dad finally spoke out on the situation about moving. It sounds like there was a slight chance Shaker could have been a Bixby Spartan, which would have been crazy. Yeah. It's crazy anyway.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Bixby I bet it would be both years number 1 in 6A1.
Well,
he was there.
They're my state champion.
Okay. Maybe I moved Bixby up to number.
You didn't.
But seriously, think about that. Shaker at Bixby this year.
So in that article, there were some things, I won't get too far into it, but there was this quarterback or this quarterback. And so I have a very trusted friend up in the Tulsa area because Shaker's dad said he didn't think he was getting a fair cut because the other quarterback was maybe getting in a little bit more work. And
there was a number thing. Disrespect
all that good stuff.
And all this.
And so I'm like, well, is the Owens kid that much close to Shaker or Shaker – so I asked my guy, I asked my person, might be a female, who knows?
Give it away.
I said, my question, is Shaker elite compared to the other, is he leaps and bounds? Are they really close?
Right.
And the guy said Shaker needs to work on his arm strength, but he is incredibly accurate on everything 20 yards or less. And he's had some drops and all that good stuff. So it sounds like Shaker was probably a little bit above the Owens kids. So,
gotcha.
But what side you want to believe on, it's really nobody's.
Right.
I don't care anymore. And I don't know. I'm sure Jinx and Union, everyone's moved on.
The game's occurred. It's a new week.
Moved on. So Broken Arrow 0-3.
Yeah.
Now they were the 0-3 in 2017 and won the state the following year, but. 0-3, of course, when you schedule like they do.
I got that one right. How'd you do on that one, Chris?
Oh, well, we're going to talk about records. Here's a sneak peek of what happened last week.
Why is Chris's name on top?
We'll get that here. Alphabetical order.
Oh, makes sense.
Dadgummit.
Owasso gets their first win. It was Owasso over BA, 27-26. Mason Willingham, 2 touchdowns, ran for another one as they get the – Owasso gets their first win in week 2.
Of course, Owasso playing without the Alabama commit.
Yeah.
At wideout.
That hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. I mean, he's a heck of a football player.
Bixby takes it to Sand Springs 67-3.
Come on.
Sand Springs like, man, I'm glad that's
over.
Non-district game now.
Glad that's over.
Yeah.
Get it out of your system.
Yeah.
Any other games that stood out to you guys last week?
The two rivals there in Edmond North, Edmond Memorial going at it, and Edmond Memorial took it to Edmond North 42-21.
What's the big thing out of that game? One of the biggest things.
There's a prize.
No. First home win for Edmond Memorial in the new stadium.
Oh wow! Very good, Chris.
Yeah.
My big deal from last week was my Fighting Ryan Cottings let me down.
Ooh.
Did not see. I got two actually. I didn't see that coming in any way, shape, or form. I mean, just got dog walked.
Rejoice Christian
off the field,
70-16.
Yeah, wow. Terrible. And then the big one though, even bigger than that for me, even though the score wasn't as big. Clinton and Heritage Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, big win for Clinton.
I got another one. How about 3-0 Muskogee?
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Takes down Carl Albert 35-28.
Big deal. Carl Albert, of course, without their returning quarterback, and so they're trying to patch some things together at Carl Albert right now. But man, Muskogee. When's the last time Muskogee was 3-0? Would have been that year. Probably Rafe Watkins took them to the playoffs, and I believe won 9 or 10 games that year. Probably right.
Yeah, I can't remember what year that was, but yeah.
Yep.
Cushing 43-27 over Perkins.
Very good Perkins team.
Blake Berlowitz, 5 touchdowns, ran for another. 43-27, I mentioned earlier. Wide receiver Camden Crooks, 3 touchdown receptions. We're going to talk about Cushing in our projections.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Some other notes that I have on some great performances. Jackson Woods of Hominy, junior quarterback, accounted for 297 yards, 4 touchdowns in a victory over Pahuska.
It's a big win.
Chance Wilson, Rejoice Christian, we talked about it a second ago. Quarterback, 557 yards, 5 touchdowns in that victory over Beggs. So
557?
557. He accounted for 557
total
yards.
Offense for him. That's crazy. That's Vince Young numbers in the national title game against SC back in 05.
Yeah.
Right there.
We talked about Shaker, and there's a lot of new kids on Union, but Devin Robinson of Union, senior DB, had 2 interceptions, a pick 6, 5 tackles, blocked field goal, and that victory over Jinx. And the final one I have here, Blake Nauman, senior wide receiver for Metro Christian, 12 catches, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a comeback victory over my Poto Pirates.
Yeah, that was a
35-31.
Yeah, that was a good ball game.
Yeah.
I got a game here for you that we kind of maybe skipped over, but didn't forget. Tuttle over Noble, 61-41.
Yeah.
2 sophomore running backs for Tuttle. Pull it up here.
100 each.
Brady McAdoo ran for 6 scores. Sophomore.
6 scores?
6 scores. The other sophomore, his name is Luke Falwell. Ran for 212 yards. So
did he get in the end zone?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched the first half last night.
Yeah.
But 6 scores, and then your other sophomore two sophomore running backs. Not a big deal.
You're pretty happy about that if you're Tuttle right now.
You're very confident going this week, I would say.
Yeah, I would think so.
So 61-41 over Noble, 102 points, and our friend Mark Rogers was interviewing Coach Ballard today on the radio, and Coach Ballard goes, Guthrie plays Tuttle. We'll talk about that in our next segment here. We do our games this week, but Coach Ballard told Mark, he goes, I don't know if the game will last 102 seconds between Guthrie and Tuttle because both defenses, they both play defense. They both like to run the football. We'll talk about it next, but I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so those were just some of the games, and we're running a little behind on that, and apologize, can't get to all of them, but those were some of the big games that we saw last week. Anything else real quick? We signed off. We're going to get to our picks here.
I think it was Edmond Santa Fe 0-3 on the year.
Yeah,
that's
Edmond
a little surprising.
Yeah.
A little surprising.
Especially at their first week against playing really well against Jinx.
Yeah,
so week
very
0
surprising.
was,
All right, we're going to take our final timeout here on the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church. When we come back, we're going to have predictions of the Week 10 games, and we'll also take a look at our top 5 rankings.
And the results from last week, right?
And the results, we saw a sneak peek of it earlier. So we're going to take our final timeout. This is the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Louis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Louis Turney a call at 282-7600.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin. That's where the golden tenders come from. Marinated for 24 hours.
It is amazing.
Then we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I like to get extra rolls, so I love it.
We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy. Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by two combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle, presented by Generations Church.
Welcome back. Final segment here on the High School Huddle, one of our favorite segments. It is where we take a look at the top 5 in our rankings, as well as our predictions for this week of Week 3 high school football games. But a reminder, we are brought to you by our good friends, our title sponsor of the show, Generations Church. You can find them at generationsguthrie.com. Take a good look at their website there. 405-282-6848 is the phone number. And they're located again here in Guthrie, 2524 West Noble Avenue. And we always appreciate Josh and his crew out there. Great stewards to the community. And a big, big thank you to Josh once again, title sponsor of the High School Huddle. Time now to take a look at the rankings. We'll start with Class A, make our way up to Class 6A football. Class A football, do we want to do
How are we doing it? Each do 5, each do 4, each do 3. Do you want to say you're 5 to
I think
1?
it's less confusing if we just do it all at once.
5, 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, number 5, I got Hominy, 3-0. The Bucks.
Well, that's not what I meant. But okay.
No, he meant just rattle all yours.
Oh, rattle all my. Okay, yeah. Okay. No, I'm a team player. Number 5.
Well.
My A rankings. Number 5, Hominy, 3-0. Fairview, number 4. Number 3, Gore. Number 2, Tonkawa. Number 1, Ringling. My top 5 did not change from a week ago.
Neither did mine. I have it exactly as Mr. Chris has it.
You guys collaborate before this?
Nope. No collaboration.
Nope.
So my top 5, I brought Hominy into number 5. I got Tonkawa 4, Fairview 3, Gore 2, and the Ringling still number 1.
Yep, I can't argue with that one. Class 2A football, and there's a little bit of a shakeup here.
A little bit of shakeup.
A little bit of a shakeup.
I'm disgusted.
Vian, I got them down to number 5. They're 1-2 on the year, but Vian, tough schedule. I mean, give them credit. Tough schedule. Beggs, they were number 2. I moved them down to number 4. They are, despite the whooping, I had Beggs number 4. Crossings, unranked in my top 5. I have them now at number 3. Rejoice Christian, very impressive. 3-0. I moved them up 2 spots, number 2, and Washington Warriors remains number 1. Well, Washington Rejoice Christian would be fun to watch. Talking about 2 different styles.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and do my 2A. So I brought Crossings into number 5 for me. Very impressive here last couple of weeks. They're winning. Beggs, they were my number 2 this last week. They got absolutely destroyed. A lot of question marks with Beggs for me, so I moved them back to number 4. Now, I kept Vian high, all right, put them number 3 on mine, just because you talked about their schedule. They lost to number 1 Washington. They lost to number 1 Lincoln Christian. Yep. So, and again, when I do my ranks, I'm talking about in this class. I'm not talking about people who they play lower or higher. Well, maybe if it's lower, if they lose to a lower class, maybe I'll take that consideration. But I got Vian number 3, and again, Rejoice Christian number 2, and I got Washington still number 1.
No, I should probably think if I think it through, I should probably have Vian number 4 and Beggs number 5. But
yeah. You got Beggs in your top 5?
I know they're dead to me.
Ryan Cotting,
very disappointed. I was the only one that had them ranked number 1 in the state in 2A, and they embarrassed me. So for at least a week, they're in the bad boy corner. They're out of the top 5.
We tried to tell you for a couple weeks in a row.
I know. I mixed it up a lot in 2A. I've got Warner, 3-0 Warner at number 5.
The Eagles?
The Eagles.
They're looking for a head coach, by the way.
I got number 4 Preg. Got Preg at number 4.
They got a coach. They got a coach.
They got a good one.
This is the one that I realize is a real stretch, but I'm planning for
let down
the athletes. Millwood at 3.
I like Millwood.
Yeah,
Millwood's athletic. Millwood's good.
Very athletic.
Big win over their rival Douglas in the Soul Bowl.
Yep. Washington 2 and Rejoice Christian is my new number 1. They
mad.
They laid the wood to my former number 1 in 2A, so they get the nod.
I don't. It's not bad.
Yeah, that'd be.
It's not right, but it's not bad.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll let you guys go. I went first on a couple. I'll let Phil go first on.
Phil on 3A. At number 5, I've got Perkins Tryon. Lost a tough one to Cushing, who's in all of our rankings in 4A. I've got Stigler at 4. I've got Verdigris at 3, Metro Christian at 2, and Lincoln Christian at 1.
Good. I brought Mallow into my top 5. I got Mallow number 5 now. Heritage Hall moved them back from 2, got them back down to 4 now. Metro Christian 3, Verdigris 2, and Lincoln Christian still number 1.
Heritage Hall Chargers moved down to number 5 in my rankings. They were number 3. Cassia Hall number 4. They were unranked. Moved them up to number 4. Metro Christian, number 3, Verdigris 2, and Lincoln Christian would have an argument for Class 4A number 1 and Class 5A number 1.
Yeah, yes,
so I got the number 1 in 3A.
I think we all agree on that one.
Yeah,
no doubt. Ronnie, you want to do 4A?
I'll do 4A. So Clinton was out of my top 5 after getting thumped the week before that. So Clinton is now my number 5 again. Moved Poto back. They lost to a late rushing touchdown with 8 seconds left. So, and again, that was a higher class they were playing. So don't want to take too much away from it, but I did move them back down to 4. I got Cushing 3, Wagner 2, and Tuttle number 1 in 4A.
Yeah, I got in my Class 4A rankings, I got Wagner still at the number 5 spot with the 1-1 record. I was writing Poto. A lot of people, did anybody else have Poto number 1?
I think I might have.
Okay. A lot of them don't. I went with the Poto number 1. I'm going to move them down to number 4.
Yeah, Clinton, I had them 1 last week.
Okay, Clinton number 3, Cushing number 2, and I got the Tuttle Tigers, who we'll talk about here in a little bit, the number 1 team in Class 4A.
I've got Bethany at 5, Clinton 4, Poto 3, Tuttle 2, and Cushing number 1.
Tuttle was my number 2, and I moved them up. Cushing was 3, and moved them up.
2, yeah.
All right, those are the Class 4A rankings. We need to have a unified high school huddle rankings. That'd be kind of cool.
I like that.
We'll do that. Maybe we can do that after the show.
Yeah,
we can do some math, see how it looks like. All right, you want to go first?
Go ahead, do 5A.
Okay, Class 5A, I kept the Guthrie Blue Jays at the number 5 spot. They've been at 5 all season long. For me, Very impressive win over Duncan. They will be challenged this week with the Tuttle Tigers, so we'll see exactly how good the Blue Jays are this week. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. I keep McAllister number 4. In fact, my rankings are the same as last week. Guthrie 5, McAllister 4, Coweta 3, McGinnis 2, Del City 1.
Good,
sure, yeah. I've been going back and forth. I've had Guthrie 5. I've had Colorado back to 5. I've gone back and forth on my 5. So my new number 5 this week, which is the only change that I have, is Collinsville. They had a win last week, so they got a big game this week against, I believe, Bartlesville, right? Yeah, a big 6A2 opponent. So we'll kind of learn more about them. Again, they're defending state champions, but they lost 18 starters. So, again, it took them a while because I want to see what they're about. We'll kind of get a little bit of an idea. But, yeah, I got McAllister number 4, Coweta number 3, Bishop McGinnis High School number 2, and, of course, Del City number 1.
I've got my number 5's Collinsville as well. I've got Coweta 4, McAllister 3, McGinnis 2, and in my opinion, the easy number 1 in 5A.
Very easy in my opinion,
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of them are. That's one of the easier ones. 5A is easy. 3A is easy. There's debate at 6A1. There's debate at 4, Class 4. Debate at Class 2A. 6A2 solidified right now. We'll talk about that right now.
Or is it?
Yeah, it's not.
We'll see. All right, my 6A2 rankings. In the rankings for the first time for me is the Muskogee Roughers 3-0 on the season.
Good.
Number 5, Booker T. Washington, number 4, with a 1-2 record. It's going. I was fighting with that one a little bit, but right now I have them at number 4. Choctaw number 3, Deer Creek number 2, and Stillwater Pioneers at number 1. Stillwater will have a tough game this week.
I've got Muskogee at 5, Choctaw 4, Lawton at 3, Deer Creek at 2, and Stillwater at 1.
Okay,
big time. So, my rankings for 6A2 is I left Sand Springs at number 5. Okay, anytime you play Bixby, whoever they play, it's probably gonna be like that anyway. So nothing against.
Can they at least score a touchdown?
No, they can't. Has anybody scored a touchdown off Bixby this year? Besides Wausau did?
Well,
a couple times.
You can't say besides if you say it's anybody.
So it happened to anybody pretty much. It has last 52 games anyway. Yeah. So not taking away from Sand Springs. I got Muskogee in at number 4, the big win over Carl Albert last week. Choctaw still my number 3, but I was very impressed by Deer Creek in their win last week against Mustang. The sophomore quarterbacks are really, really good. Yeah. So I moved them from 2 to number 1. So Stillwater 2 for me. Deer Creek is now my new number 1 in 6A2.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
Deer Creek, Stillwater, I thought about it.
Yeah.
Thought about it.
Very good team.
Yeah, very good team.
Stillwater had an offensive lineman that's committed to Oklahoma State go down with an injury. I'm not sure what his status is, but he did go down with an injury.
And you've been talking about this sophomore QB for Deer Creek before
Grady
the season
Adamson.
Yeah. So he's a legitimate D1 type of kid.
Sophomore.
Yeah, just a sophomore. So, and of course, they've got a great offensive scheme over there, so they'll always put up points.
Yeah.
And that was a very good win against Mustang.
Yeah.
All right. Those are the rankings according to
6A1.
6A1.
Oh, 6A1.
6A1. I'll start it off. So Owasso's back in my top 5. I put number 5 for Owasso. 4 is still more. And again, Jinx, even though they got ran pretty good by Union, they're still my 3 team. Bixby 2, Union still number 1.
I got the Timberwolves at number 5.
Norman North. Oh.
Norman North back to number 5. I got Moore Lions at number 4 with that 3-0 record. Jinx Trojans, now my number 3 team. I wrote as long as I could, and they're not done yet.
No.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let them get healthy. My number 2 team is the Bixby Spartans, and then my new number 1 team is the Union Redhawks.
I have Norman North as well at 5 this week, Moore at 4, Jinx at 3, Union at 2, and the 52-0 Bixby Spartans number 1.
Can't argue.
Can't argue for Union or Bixby.
Yeah. You know. It's a 3-dog race right now.
Yeah.
Before we get into our top 10 picks this week, there's not as many games this week. Bye has a busy week. Bye's playing a lot of teams.
Very occupied.
Very busy.
Bye is very busy.
But perhaps the game of the week in the state of Oklahoma is the Guthrie Blue Jays traveling to the Tuttle Tigers. Trivia question. Tuttle Tigers have made the playoffs 31 straight seasons.
Wow.
3 teams better than them. 3 programs better than them as far as making the state playoffs consecutively. Who would that be?
Well, 30 years. The obvious, you want to say Jinx.
Jinx won?
Yeah, you say Jinx.
The other obvious, it probably isn't. Union. But
Union's number 2.
Okay.
One more.
Carl
smaller
Albert?
School.
Smaller school.
Not Carl Albert?
Not Carl Albert.
I'm going to say it's like a 3A or a 2A program.
There are 3A.
Verdigris.
Cassia Hall.
Cassia Hall.
Cassia
Nice.
Hall. But Tuttle Tigers have won like 50 of their last 56 ball games.
Yeah,
they got 3 starters coming back from a year ago on offense, 3 back from last year on defense. 61 points, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
For Tuttle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Giving up 41's unheard of, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I think 41's probably more surprising.
Yes,
given
it
up
was
61.
for me.
Yeah,
definitely. It was for me.
But that is a big-time matchup. You're talking about 2 programs very similar to each other, different classifications, Tuttle 4A, Guthrie 5A. Both blue-collar, love to stop the run, play defense, and both on offense love to run the football. So this will be very intriguing Friday night, Guthrie and Tuttle.
Yeah, and obviously, we're not going to pick a winner and loser in that because we'll be calling the game, but I think they're almost identical teams.
Yeah.
Definitely, historically how they win ball games. They run the ball. They play very tough defense. Always both very well conditioned teams. So it's and it's the first time, I believe, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the first time they've ever met.
First meeting.
So it's the first meeting between Tuttle and Guthrie, and Guthrie perennial power over the years. Been down a little bit the last few years, or last 4 or 5 years, but have really been a perennial power over the years. And Tuttle, obviously, what you just rattled off, speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So we called them last year in the state championship game against Clinton. And ran into an absolute hornet's nest that night with Clinton. But I think it's going to be a great ball game. Man, if you like high school football, and if you like good defense and running the ball, come watch the game Friday.
Or if you can't make it and you're watching your game, you want to check in at halftime, you can always go to GuthrieNewsPage.com or YouTube and search Guthrie News Page, and we'll have the call of that game.
Yeah, you guys probably in the stands this week, right? And I'll be in the sideline.
Tuttle's
until you get kicked off.
Right.
The groundwork has started for the new $18 million facility.
Not there yet.
Not quite there yet, but
so we need to schedule another game when it gets done.
Yes, we
need to talk to the scheduler. Get that scheduled.
Yeah, that'll be a great ball game.
It's gonna be a great ball game. Can't wait.
Brady
to call
McAdoo is fun to watch. Watched first half last night against Noble. Number 11. He can run the football. He had a teammate, Falwell, runs it well. Quarterback. That's we're working on pregame graphics, and one of the keys for I think Guthrie is don't fall asleep on the pass because it's run. Whoop, you can't fall asleep on that. So it'll be very intriguing.
So there's going to be 3 really good running backs on the field this week. So a good game to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So is there other games that let's see here. We're picking that one. Let's go ahead and get into them. I don't think I got any. Yeah. All right, here we go. The first game that we will be picking is. Oops, I had to change that graphic. There we go. The Enid Plainsmen 1-1 at Edmond North. Edmond North looking for their first victory of the season. Well, Ronnie, I will let you go first. This was the.
Are we giving scores?
I wrote scores down.
Yeah, I'll give scores.
I'll give you scores.
Yeah, I'll give you scores.
So, again, like you said, Enid is looking for their first win, and I can confidently say that they will not get their first win of the year. I mean, I don't say confidently. I mean, I just said it, make the statement.
Who's looking for first win of the year?
Edmond North.
Yeah.
Edmond North.
So I got Enid win this game.
The fight
35, 45-35.
45-35.
Yeah.
Little offense.
Yeah.
I agree. Enid gets the win. Edmond North will go to 0-3. Is that correct? I believe that's correct. They played 2, right, so far?
Correct.
But they will stay without a victory, and I think the score is going to be more like 35-21.
Gotcha.
Well, I'll make it 3 across the board. I got Enid winning 24-22 in a good ball game.
That'd be a good game to go to. Yeah. Fighting Scott Mix down there.
By the way, that's a Thursday night game. That takes place tomorrow night.
Want to go?
We should
go. Tracy Lawrence concert.
Tracy Lawrence concert.
We're leaving.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we got Tracy Lawrence.
Chris has been stretching all day getting ready for that thing.
Paint me a Birmingham. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, moving on to our next game. It is, what's that say? Okay. That is Norman at 6A1 Norman looking for their first win, 0-2 on the year. They're at Stillwater, 6A2 program, our number 1 team. All 3 of us have Stillwater?
Yep. No, I have Deer Creek. I moved
Creek.
Stillwater back.
Number 2 for Ron.
They're 2-0. Both
He's
offense.
wrong, but
Both have great quarterbacks. Tyus McClarty for Norman. Gage Gundy, of course, with Stillwater. Noah Roberts, a great running back for the Pioneers.
I'll lead it off with this. I've got Stillwater winning big over Norman. I'm going to say 42-14.
Ooh. I got Stillwater winning 24-10.
24-10.
10.
You guys are going fast. Chris Evans, I have Stillwater winning in a close one.
Close one.
34-30.
Wow.
I think the 6A.
Norman with Norman?
Stillwater beating Norman.
Norman's ranked in some top 10s and throughout the state.
Well, not any good polls.
Well, none. I mean, they're not our polls.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to make sure my Stillwater logo pops up before.
He obsesses about these things. We could be here all night.
Wow, I just want to make sure
all night.
I can't have my logo up there.
Well, I haven't had dinner.
You still got another show to do.
Oh boy.
All right, so all the way across on that one. Here we go. Elk City, the Elks traveled to Carl Albert, Midwest City. Elk City, a 4A program, 3-0. Carl Albert, 5A program, 1-2. Elk City, big splash last year in the playoffs. Upset in the first round. Carl Albert didn't make the championship game a year ago. 1-2 this year.
Yeah.
Again, good schedule.
Take
good schedule. Xavier Robinson has been impressive for Carl Albert. So this is intriguing. Elk City at Carl Albert.
Lead the way, Chris.
Okay, so I thought about this, and I thought about this. I actually went back and forth, and I was like, Elk City has all the momentum going. Carl Albert has no momentum going as far as win-losses.
Here it comes.
And I thought, surely.
You going to do it?
Surely. Carl Albert can't lose to Elk City.
That's what I asked you earlier, didn't it?
Yeah.
Surely that can't happen.
Yeah.
And I agree. Carl Albert wins 34-20.
We're going to get one on him.
Yeah, I've got Carl Albert winning this game as well. We were talking about Elk City 3-0 and doing great.
Yeah.
But it's still Carl Albert.
Carl Albert, yeah.
And
higher classification matters.
Yeah, and like Chris said, they've played a really tough schedule so far. Yeah. So I think Carl Albert gets the win. I'm going to say 28-17.
I got Carl Albert as well. Like I said earlier, surely they can beat Elk City, right? Surely they can. You have to. You know,
I mean, I go back and forth if Guthrie and Midwest City and Dell City can beat them. Surely, surely, strike up the band in Elk City. We'll see how it goes.
I got Carl Albert 42-31.
Oh,
42-31.
Putting up some points.
Yeah, see some points this week.
So we haven't disagreed yet.
No, it's coming though. I have a feeling.
So?
Oh no, I see one on here that's coming.
Game number 7. It's Seville at Beeville. Collinsville 2-0, Bartlesville 1-1. Collinsville, as Ronnie mentioned, 5A defending state champion. Several players graduated a year ago. Quarterback Caden Rush playing good for the Cardinal. Bartlesville, solid so far. Beat Claremore last week, or 29 in week 1, losing to Sapulpa 27-21 last week.
Ronnie?
I gotta go first on this one.
You don't have to.
Oh, I'll go. I
can go first. I will.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I go first. I got Collinsville winning this one 21-19.
21-19.
I'll go, Phil, because I know you don't want to. Oh. So
why do I not want to?
Because I know you don't. So, again, this is very intriguing for me, but I do have Collinsville. I moved into my top 5, so I expect them to play well against Bartlesville here, and I got them winning 28-24.
So Collinsville saw your rankings, and they're going to be inspired to beat Bartlesville?
Yeah. Correct.
I also moved Collinsville into the 5-hole in 5A this week, and it's going to be short-lived. Bartlesville wins this game 24-21.
Beeville.
Oh, here we go.
I'm
rooting for you, Chris.
The larger one. Good luck, Phil, next week.
You bet.
All right. So our first little disagreement there.
Oh, we got to have something.
Yeah, I agree. Did you really write? You wrote down Collinsville, probably, didn't you? And you had
I don't have it written down. I'm going off the homework I did.
Okay. All right. Our next ball game we'll take a look at here is Berry Hill at Cushing. Berry Hill, Class 3A program, ranked in the top 10. I don't think it made our top 5 anywhere.
Yep.
In a very tough 3A class.
3A is tough.
Traveling to Cushing, all in our top 3 for sure.
Ranked team in the state.
Cushing, Blake Blurwitz, we talked about his performance last week. Camden Crooks, we talked about his performance. We talked about the performance every single week as they put points on the board. One of the best quarterback-receiver duo there. It's Berry Hill lost to a Cassia Hall last week, 28-21, a very competitive game.
Cassia Hall's good program,
Yeah.
Phil, you go first. You haven't been first yet.
I've got Cushing winning this. My number 1 ranked team in 4A, 42-28.
42-28.
Yeah, I think we're all going to pick the same team. It's interesting on the score.
Yeah.
And I went just a touch lower. I have Cushing winning this one 38-21.
Yep.
I'm going to put a little more faith in the Cushing defense than you guys. I got Cushing winning 28-10.
28-10. No confidence in the offense, though.
Well, I mean,
28 points at halftime, or
yeah, I mean,
just sit back and watch, boys.
All right.
Oh boy.
Remember my lock of the week last week worked.
Crooks might have 28 points at the end of the first quarter.
Was that your lock?
That's my lock.
Union. Okay. Yeah, Crooks might have that by himself.
Yeah.
Cushing across the board. Our next game, we'll take a look. Blanchard at Shawnee. Blanchard, a 4A program, ranked just outside my top 5, outside top 10. Blanchard 0-2. They're looking for the first one victory. The same is the Shawnee Wolves. Both 0-2 on the season, and Shawnee defense right now allowing 22 points. Maybe not their defense. The Shawnee as a team allowing 22 points a ball game. What gives, Phil Nichols?
I'm going to go Blanchard in this. I'd like to go Shawnee, being a 5A school, and we've got a lot of history calling Shawnee games. But Shawnee's down a little bit, boys. And I think that, Blanchard probably wins that game about 28. I'm going to say 28-14.
Yeah, I got Blanchard as well. Again, like I said, Shawnee called a game with him last year. Weren't very impressive. Couldn't move the ball very well. Obviously, kind of the same look. Kind of looks like the same speech going on this year for Shawnee. So I got Blanchard about 31-21.
Yeah.
And I have Blanchard winning as well. My score there is 31-17.
Okay.
31-17.
So far, only one difference here, boys.
Blanchard on the road for the victory. All right. That was game number 4?
Something.
I can't remember. Okay. We move on to game number 4. Here we go, Phil. This is your chance to get, or Ryan Cotting, see if he gets back in your winning graces here.
Do I have to go first?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got to describe it here real quick. Verdigris on the road to Beggs, a very cranky Beggs team after getting handled rather easy, but it doesn't get much easier this week. 3A Verdigris, 2-0 on the road to 2A Beggs. Golden Demons have their hands full. Verdigris, star linebacker, tailback Reese Roller. Phil, does Roller roll Beggs?
Well, I put a lot of thought into this. You guys know historically I love Beggs, right?
Here we go.
No, I love Beggs.
Keep going.
I love Beggs. The fighting Ryan Cottings. We got history. They produce great athletes, right? Every year,
I agree with that.
How the heck did they give up 70 points last week? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
The other team was pretty good.
Verdigris. Outstanding football team. Verdigris wins big.
Big.
Well, I will tell you, I have Verdigris.
45. I'll go 45-21.
I have Verdigris winning 30-20.
Mm-hmm.
I think Beggs a little bit motivated. I don't think it gets them enough for the victory, but I think they play motivated this week.
You can play motivated all you want. You gave up 70 points last week. And if you're that caliber with those athletes, why did they give it? There's a reason they give up 70. You can have a bad game and you don't give up 70. You can be a bad football team and not give up 70.
70 is a lot of points.
70 is a lot of points.
I mean, that's just a huge number, guys.
So I got, again, just kind of piggyback on what Phil said. If they lost to a close game, okay, I get it, I understand. Yeah. But there's serious problems at Beggs if you give up 71 points, regardless of classifications. Right? It doesn't matter when you're Beggs like that. So I have Verdigris win this game 31-28. I think they'll play a little bit more inspired. I think they'll keep it closer because obviously pride's at stake. Everybody's wanting you to do better.
What I just said.
Yeah. So I do have Verdigris win that game. However, though 31-28.
Okay.
All right. I'll agree on Verdigris. We'll see. All right, we now move on to our next game. I think this is our game number 2 second to the end that we're picking here. And it is Poto, Class 4A Poto, after that loss to Class 3A Metro Christian last week, 35-31, giving up a 2-yard touchdown with 8 seconds left in that one. They go to Chandler. Chandler, no, I had one more note. Dax Collins had a terrific game, 190 yards, 3 scores on 18 carries for Poto in the wing T offense. They still run the wing T there, and they perfect it. So, anyway, Poto is at Chandler 2-0. I know they got a victory over Stroud, and I can't remember the other game. But anyway, Chandler playing good football.
Yeah, I agree. Chandler's playing real good right now, undefeated on the year. Poto losing that heartbreaker last week. I think they'll come out a little bit more motivated, but so I like Poto in this game, 38-21.
I have Poto winning 28-14.
I have Poto winning 35-21.
35-21.
That's close. That's good.
So we're about to see all those Pirates. Ain't that a great logo?
Oh,
that
great
Pirate logo.
One of the best.
Just awesome.
It's one of the best.
Big time.
Awesome logo. All right, our final game that we're picking tonight, Perkins Tryon at Mallow, the hometown of Dusty Throckmorton.
Ooh.
The Mallow Outlaws.
Nice.
Yes. All right. Well, let's see here. Mallow, 2A state title last year.
Yep.
There's a Gilbert. It's not the Gilbert from last year.
Oh, Chase ain't there no more?
He's not there no
man,
more.
What a good kid he was, too.
There's another Gilbert there.
Iowa State, right?
Iowa State.
Yeah. Quarterback Cade Gilbert. But 12 touchdowns, first 2 games, 10 passing, 2 on the ground. Perkins trying to get back in the win column after the 43-27 loss to very, very good Cushing Ball Club. And I will go first for you guys here.
Ooh.
I have Perkins winning this one 20-17.
Wow. Perkins, huh? Okay. So Mallow has a 17-game winning streak.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
17 in a row for Mallow, right? It's
big.
It's big time. That's excellent. Great program there. So anytime a Gilbert is on the field, I will be picking Mallow. Mallow is going to win this game 21-17.
21-17.
So we got a good game.
Got a good game.
Oh, yeah.
Phil,
well, last week we said that begs let somebody score 70, so I don't know.
I'm disgusted.
Oh, I messed up.
Oh, Chris messed up. Document that.
Right now.
There we go. On the screen.
Better now?
I'm better now.
So, Mallow state championship last year.
Nope. That doesn't carry over.
No. Well, if you'd let me finish my thought.
All day long.
It's relentless.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to get you on my team.
Well, won a state title last year. Outstanding football team. Perkins is my number 5 in 3A.
Coming into the game. Will they be in your top 5 after the game?
They will. Perkins wins 21-14.
Ooh. PT Deers. Yep. That'll be a good one. That will be a good one.
Be a good ball game.
All right. And we'll take a look at our final game of the week here on the High School Huddle. Wagner at Grove. This one will be definitely fun to watch. Wagner, 1-1 4A program. Grove moves up to 5A this year. Grove right now with a 2-0 record. Remember, this is the game last year where the safety was taken on purpose, thinking the district points would be there.
Yeah, that's
and that was not the case. Now, Grove ended up winning that contest, or the district. So it's a rematch of Wagner's 22-20 win in the 4A3 showdown that ended in the intentional safety. Grove running back Emmanuel Crawford against Wagner's defense will be the story.
Yeah.
Can he run the ball? Last year, Crawford, 2,438 yards, 20 passes caught, 315 yards. It was good. But Wagner held him to 114 yards a year ago. Yeah. A lot of returning players for both ball clubs, so it's kind of an extension after the overtime game from last year. Wagner has won 11 in a row since Grove won 43-6 back in 2008. Wagner at Grove.
Who starts?
I'll go. I ain't scared.
Okay. Well, I ain't scared either.
So, Wagner, very good ball club. I think we would all agree. Again,
every year.
Grove, a 5A school as well, right? Mm-hmm. So 5A Grove versus 4A Wagner. I think games that have played up to this point mattered. Wagner losing a heartbreaker to my number 3 team, Coweta, just a couple weeks ago.
Coweta.
Coweta. So again, I think it's going to be another good. I don't know if it's going to be too good. I think it's going to be close early, but I think I got Wagner going to pull off a win with 21-7. 21-7.
21-7.
I'll go next as well. Let me make sure okay, got that in there. Boom. I have Wagner winning and another close game by 2 points. I mean, hey, you got to pick 2 points.
Yeah.
I mean, 24-22, Wagner.
Yeah. What was the score?
24-22.
That's a good score.
Good score.
How do you get 22 points?
Oh, it's a game you better watch to find out how.
No, that's a good score. I like the score.
You don't like the team.
Grove wins.
Ooh. Grove, the Ridge Runners.
The running back's going to be too much for Wagner.
The 5A Bullies now.
He's going to be the 5A Bullies, and old boy can listen. You run for over 2,000 yards in any class of football. You could play a little foosball.
Yeah.
So I like his chances, and I think Grove comes away with the win.
All right. So those are the top 10 games that we are predicting, and most part we agree on most of it. There is a little bit of difference.
There are some differences, yeah.
So it'll be
good. 2 differences.
For the record, this is how we did it a week ago. Week 2 predictions. All 3 of us were 7-3. My Deer Creek Antlers saved me as they take down Westmore in a 6A1, 6A2 matchup. I did pick BA to get their first victory of the year, but Owasso was too much as Phil and Ronnie picked a week ago. So we'll see how that goes. And really, last week was our first true deal because we were too busy week 0. Phil skipped out on week 1. So we really didn't have rankings until last week.
That's true.
So moving forward.
My mother had a medical emergency.
Well, it turns out she didn't.
This Monday, she would argue.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't arguing about this Monday. So, all right. That will do it here on the High School Huddle. Big thank you to Chris Mallow for joining us here.
Yeah, thanks,
and we
Chris.
went a little bit longer than normal, but it was worth having him on there. Hopefully get him on here a few more times here on the High School Huddle. Best of luck to your team. A lot of teams are off this week, so enjoy the streams of different games. There's so many streams out there. Watch high school football. Of course, we'll be in Tuttle, Oklahoma for the game of the week in the state of Oklahoma. Guthrie at Tuttle should be a good one. Those two powerhouse.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Our pregame show, 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock if you want to join us on Guthrie News page. For my partners, Ronnie Phillips, Phil Nicholas, I'm Chris Evans. This has been the High School Huddle presented by Generations Church.